Guys, it's me, it's Queen Oseteru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of An Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. So some of you have noticed that I've been playing with makeup lately. I found my makeup. I had lost a bunch of it somewhere in my room, and I found it, so I've been playing in it. Costa Rica is too hot for me to wear makeup outside, so it's kind of cool to play with it inside. So that's what you guys have been noticing. I've been playing with it before my videos in different color schemes and stuff like that. So yeah, that's that. Now I want to tell you something very interesting. So I got a message from a 22-year-old Aquarius. She's a lovely girl and she's in college. She has her first apartment and she was so excited to get her first apartment, and she rushed out and decorated her apartment. She even sent me a couple pictures of it. It's really nice. And she's, she's in college. She has her own place. She's doing really good. So what happened is that on campus, she met a Scorpio. And her and the Scorpio started to have friends with benefits. They never really had a formal date. He just started coming over. They would Netflix and chill, have sex. He would leave. This has been going on for about 6 or 7 months now. So this is the issue. When they first came together, they discussed where the relationship was going. And she told him that she did not want a serious relationship. He said exactly the same thing. But since then, he has been coming over very frequently, like she said, almost every day, and leaving items, shoes in the closet. He left an outfit for work. He left a toothbrush one day or a razor another day. So like every time he comes, more and more of his belongings are accumulating in her apartment. So she's starting to feel kind of crowded and doesn't know, like, basically what's going on. Because she said when we had the conversation, he said he didn't want a relationship and he wasn't trying to move in with anybody. So why does it seem like he's trying to move in, or am I just paranoid? So what I wanted to say is that no, you're not paranoid. You see, this is the thing. A manipulative person will tell you anything you want to hear. And Scorpios have the tendency, some of them, the dark ones especially, have the tendency to be manipulative. So they will tell you whatever you want to hear to get to their objective. He's doing what I call the 52 fake out. He's faking it like he doesn't want to stay with you when he actually does. This is the thing. He may not want to be in a long-term serious relationship, but he does want to stay with you. Because you were saying to me earlier something that really gave this up. He said that he was staying with his ex. They broke up and he went to stay with his mom. This is right before the two of you started seeing each other. So he's displaced. He is homeless, basically. He's staying with his mom. You said he didn't get along with her very well, so he really doesn't want to stay there. So he doesn't really want to be in a relationship with you. He wants someplace to stay. This happens a lot with women and men, but I see it a lot with men. I'm not sure why that is, but I see it a lot with males. So this is the thing. He knows that you don't want that, so he's trying to sneak it on you. That's the fake out part. I'm going to tell her what she wants to hear until I can get what I want, basically is what he's saying to himself, in his mind. So you're starting to notice because your home is becoming accumulated with his belongings, so you're seeing what's going on. He's lying to you. He's lying to you and trying to just slowly but surely creep into your home. Now, I've experienced this myself. Let me tell you a little story. Yesterday, or maybe the day before, I was talking to you guys about the crazy Scorpio that I used to date. He was so crazy. I had a lot of fun with him, though. But this is the thing. He did the same thing to me. And this is what made us break up, the 52 fake out. First of all, he cheated on me. And the day he cheated on me was so obvious because every day he was at my house. This one day he didn't come over. And then around the time he should have shown up, his boss called me to tell me that he had gotten into an accident and was taken to the hospital. So I'm like, okay, no problem. Thanks for telling me. So I called the hospital. He was living in a town that only had one hospital at that time. They may have more now. It's a small town. So I called the hospital, gave him his name, because mind you, I had his name and his social security card number. Because back then I didn't play. If I was dating a man, I would get his name and social security card number out of his wallet when he was in the shower. Because if something happened and I got knocked up, I wanted to be able to find him. Now, that was a very sneaky thing for me to do, but it is what it is. Anyway, so I gave the hospital his name and social security card number, and they told me he was not admitted to the hospital. They didn't know where he was, but he wasn't there. So I knew immediately his job was around the corner from the hospital, and he lived around the other corner. Very small town. So I knew immediately what was going on. So I said, you know what? No problem. I stopped taking his phone calls. I stopped talking to him, which in hindsight, I had a lot of nerve because I was cheating on him the whole time. So it was like, I didn't play that back then. I could cheat on you, but you couldn't cheat on me. I was on some weirdo Aquarius stuff. Anyway, so I stopped talking to him that very day. He called a few times. He tried to hit me up. I ignored him. Now, let's stop here for a second and rewind. When I first met him, because mind you, we didn't date long. When I first met him, my old head, this older woman that would school me on how to not get played, basically, said to me, it's really funny to me that he always has money to give you. Because he always gave me money. He always paid for things. He always bought me things. He was very generous, which is one of the things I liked about him. And she said, that seems weird to me because at the job that he's at, he can't possibly be making enough money to support your household and his. He worked at Rent-A-Center. And she was like, how is he paying his bills and yours? That doesn't make sense. And I was like, you know, I don't know. You know, I'm all dumb, didn't even want to think about it. And she was like, and she was a Scorpio, right? And she was like, girl, something ain't right with that. I was like, whatever. I kept on going, you know? So she said that to me. Now let's get back to the day he cheated. So I stopped answering his phone calls. I stopped talking to him. I stopped hitting him up. I stopped doing all those kind of things. He would call me. I would look at the caller ID, see it was him. I wouldn't answer the phone. He'd knock on the door. I wouldn't answer the door. I just completely blocked him out of my mind and out of my life. I went on with my life. I thought it was over. 30 days, maybe 30 days passed, maybe 30. I thought it was over. All of a sudden, y'all, my daughter's father came to pick her up on a Friday. And then, mind you, it was about a month later. So my daughter's father came to pick her up and took her with him for the weekend. She went every weekend with her daddy. So while she was off with her daddy, I was chilling. You know, smoking my Newports. I was drinking my beer. Back then, I used to drink this nasty drink. It's not even a beer. It's called St. Ives Special Brew. It's like a flavored beer. It's hideous, but I used to love it. Anyway, so I'm drinking that, and I'm smoking, and I'm chilling, and I'm dancing to my music, and all of a sudden, I hear somebody at the door. So I'm listening. They're knocking the door, knocking the door, knocking the door. So I'm the kind of person who, if you don't tell me you're coming over, I don't answer the door. My friends have to call me. You got to text me. You got to tell me within a 2-block radius that you're pulling through. You can't just come knock on my door. I don't play that. You got to tell me. I'm Aquarius. I'm a weirdo. I could be on the couch naked painting pictures. Who knows what I could be doing? So my friends all know it's not a good idea to turn up at my house unannounced. So they always text me first. And this has been ever since I had my own place. So I'm like, who the hell is that? So I'll go to the window and peek out the joint, out the blinds, and it's him, the Scorpio. And I'm like, I see his car. His car had all of his belongings. On top of the car was his mattress. In the passenger seat was some boxes and some stuff. The back seats were full to the point where I couldn't even see through the windows. And the trunk was tied down with some rope or something. All his belongings, or most of his belongings, were in the car. And I'm looking out the window. And it clicked in my head, Aquarius. It clicked fast. It was like, oh my God, that's what she was talking about. he could afford it because he wasn't paying his bills. He wasn't paying for his stuff. He was paying for mine. And then it dawned on me at the same time what his mother said to me. A couple of months into the relationship, maybe I'm gonna think about maybe a month and a half into the relationship, was Thanksgiving, and he took me to meet his mom. And his mom said to me, "Baby girl, whatever you do, don't move in with him." And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not some scrub that got to live with your son. I got my own house. So I said, "Ma'am, I'm not trying to move in with him. I have my own place." And she said, "Oh, no, 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 no. That's not what I mean, baby. Don't let him move in with you." And I was like, why would he want to move in with me? But apparently he must have said something to his mom, or his mom had a hunch or something. But right when I saw him out the blinds with all his stuff in the car, it clicked what everybody was trying to tell me. My Scorpio friend, his mother, he was putting me up with the 52 fake out. Because he was trying to move in my house. That was what the whole thing was about. The relationship, him giving me money, all of that was to set me up so he could move in. And I was sitting there like, damn, I'm boo-boo the fool, you know? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, what am I going to do? I don't want this man living with me. We already broke up. He's a cheater. I don't want to be with him. So what the heck? So I'm sitting there like, what am I going to do? So I looked around my room. I saw my backpack. And I packed a bag, an overnight bag. I put all of my, stuff I needed for like 3 days into this backpack. And mind you, at the time, I wasn't driving. I stuffed everything in that backpack. I grabbed all my stuff, my cigarettes, my liquor, everything went into the backpack. And I snuck out the back door. Got on the bus, and went to my best friend's house across town. And stayed there for 3 days, hiding in her house. And when I was sure he had left by then, and I was good and sure, I think it was a Sunday night when my daughter should have been coming back home, I went home. And he had been calling. I looked in the caller ID. He had been calling and calling and calling. And he kept calling for like months. It was like 2 or 3 months he just kept calling. And I just kept on ducking him, So one day I was on the phone talking to the Scorpio, and my caller ID did not pick up the number for some reason. It malfunctioned. So I clicked over on the other line, and he said, "Where you been?" And I was like, shit. And I was like, "What you mean, where I been? I've been where I live. What do you mean?" And he was like, "I was looking for you. I got evicted." And I was like, "Well, why did you get evicted?" And he was like, "Well, I didn't have as much money as I came off like I did. And I was giving you my rent money." And I was like, "Excuse me?" And he was like, I don't have any place to stay. Can I stay with you?" And I was like, "No." He was like, "What do you mean, no? I gave you this, I gave you that. I should be able to come stay there anytime I want to." And I was just like, "Dude, I got a daughter. That's not appropriate. You can't live with me, and I'm not into you. I'm not even rolling with you like that. What happened to the woman that you was with when you were supposed to be at the hospital?" And he got quiet because I wasn't supposed to have figured that out. And he was like, I ain't going to no hospital. What you talking about?" I was like, "Yeah, okay. Well, look, you need to call somebody else because ain't shit happening." And I got off the phone. He called a few more times and tried to test the water, and I just stopped taking his calls, and eventually he just stopped calling. So my point to you is that Scorpios are known for the 52 fake out. They're known to fake you out. So you can't believe what a gentleman tells you out of his mouth. Women have the tendency to fall in love with words. We love the brothers talking them sweet words. But words don't mean nothing, baby. Just because he said, "I'm not trying to be with you, I'm not trying to be in a relationship with you," his actions are showing you exactly what he's trying to do. So believe his actions the first time. If you do not want to live with this gentleman, you need to cut off this relationship. You need to let him know that you're not trying to live with him and that it needs to be over. I personally would pack his stuff. I would put it into a box or put it into a plastic trash bag or whatever you want to put it in. And when he came over the next time, I'd pull that bag out the closet and be like, "You need to take this with you when you leave." because that's what's happening. He's slowly but surely creeping into your home. And what's going to end up happening is you're going to have a really hard time getting rid of him. Because if he starts to get mail, one thing people don't know, in many states, if a person starts to get mail at your home and they've been staying at your home, you're not allowed to put them out. You have to have them evicted by City Hall. It depends on what state you're in. So you're putting yourself in a position where you might be stuck with him. You see? So if I were you, I wouldn't play this game with him. I'd pack his belongings and let him know to kiss the curb. And you already said that you really don't want to keep sleeping with him. So it's time to move on, because you're going to end up with a whole man staying with you. You said every day he's at your crib. He's leaving stuff all the time. He got, different, people coming knocking on the door looking for him. He's moving in. Regardless of what he's telling you, he is slowly but surely moving in your house. So don't fall for the 52 fake out. Pack his belongings and kick him to the curb. As a matter of fact, when he came over the next time, I would give him his stuff at the front door. Seriously. And if he has a key, change your locks. Okay? If he doesn't have a key, then fine. But if you gave him one at any given time, even just to get in, he might have made a copy. You got to be really careful with these people. Some of these people are really manipulative, and Scorpios are known to be master manipulators. Okay? So be careful, sweetheart. All right. I hope that helps you. Don't get got. Okay. If anybody would like to leave a love donation, I'll leave my PayPal. If you would like to contact me for a reading, or if you want to contact me to ask a question, a general question, then please go right ahead and email me. I'll leave that underneath this video too. I'll also leave my social media. So you can check me out on Facebook or Instagram. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and pass it on to somebody else who might want to laugh at my pain. See you later.